Every year, millions of people start January full of motivation. They've set their New Year's resolutions, bought the gym membership, downloaded the budgeting app, or stocked the fridge with healthy food. There's a sense of fresh possibility, of turning the page. But by the time February rolls around, many of those same people have slipped back into their old routines. The gym bag is gathering dust, the app hasn't been used or opened in weeks, and the fridge looks suspiciously like it did the previous year. We've all heard the statistics about how many New Year's resolutions fail. Yet, each year we make them again and again. So why do we keep setting ourselves up in this way? And why are these changes so hard to stick to? Well, part of it comes down to the psychology of fresh starts. The beginning of a new year feels like a clean slate. Psychologists call this the fresh start effect. A new calendar year creates a natural break from the past, and we feel more willing to leave behind the mistakes or habits we didn't like. It's the same reason people are more likely to start diets on Mondays or begin new projects after birthdays. It gives a sense of separation between the old me and the new me. New Year's resolutions also carry social weight. You hear friends talk about their New Year's resolutions. You see posts on social media about big goals, and it creates an expectation to want to join in. On top of that, there's the optimism bias, which is the tendency to believe that our future self will be more disciplined, more capable, and more motivated than our present self. We imagine that future version of us will somehow find the energy, the time, and the willpower that we've struggled with in the past. The problem is the resolution itself often rests on shaky ground. In those first few days of January, motivation's high. It feels exciting to imagine the result, being fitter, being more organized, being financially secure. But motivation is like the burst of energy at the start of a race. It can get you going, but it's not enough to carry you through. Real lasting change comes from systems and habits, not from willpower alone. And when a resolution is built on nothing but that initial motivation, it's almost guaranteed to not quite work out. Another reason resolutions fail is that they're often unrealistic. People set big, sweeping goals without accounting for the reality of their daily lives. Someone who hasn't exercised in years might commit to going to the gym 6 days a week. Someone who's never budgeted might set a goal of saving half of their income. Now, ambition can be great, but when a goal is so far from where you are now, it becomes overwhelming. The first time you miss a workout or you overspend, you feel like you've already failed, which makes it even harder to keep going. Vagueness is another trap. Resolutions like get healthier or save more money, they sound positive, but they're too vague to actually be actionable. Without specific, measurable goals, you don't have a roadmap. You're left relying on willpower in the moment, which is exactly when we tend to fall back into old habits. If your goal is exercise more, what does that mean? Does that mean walking twice a week? Does that mean lifting weights 3 times a week? Without being clear, it's easy to lose direction. Now, there's also the issue of all or nothing thinking, which I've talked about before in other videos. Resolutions often set up a perfection standard. And the moment you miss a workout, the moment you eat a dessert or skip a journaling session, it feels like you've broken the streak and might as well give up. This all or nothing mindset turns small setbacks into reasons to quit. And the irony is, most meaningful change happens in fits and starts. Progress is never a straight line, but resolutions often leave no room for that kind of flexibility. Then there's the challenge of how our brains value rewards. Behavioral psychology shows us that we're wired to prefer immediate rewards over delayed ones. Eating a cookie now gives instant pleasure. Going for a run pays off weeks or months later. The discomfort of change is immediate. The benefit of change is delayed. Unless you find ways to make the process itself rewarding, your brain will keep nudging you toward the thing that feels good now, even if it undermines your long-term goals. Willpower also has its limits. There's evidence that constantly having to resist temptation or push yourself drains your mental energy over time. That doesn't mean you have zero control. It means that self-control works better when it's supported by structure and your environment. If you're trying to eat healthier, keeping tempting snacks in the house forces you to use that willpower constantly. Remove those snacks, you've changed the environment so you don't have to keep fighting that same battle every day. One of the deeper reasons resolutions don't stick is that they're often about behavior without identity change. You can tell yourself, I'm going to run 3 times a week, but if you still see yourself as someone who hates exercise, that's going to be an uphill battle. When change is tied to identity, I'm the kind of person who takes care of my health, that sort of thing has a better chance of lasting because it becomes part of who you are, not just something you do. And on top of that, people often ignore the role of cues and triggers. Habits are shaped by context. If you usually watch TV right after dinner, deciding that that's when you're going to go for a run means that you're competing with an already established habit. Without intentionally changing your cues, maybe putting running shoes by the door or meeting a friend for accountability, you're then having to again rely on willpower to override a pattern that's already well rehearsed. So if resolutions are set up to fail in these ways, what works better? Well, it's not about avoiding goals or resolutions altogether. It's about approaching change differently. Instead of tying change to the calendar, start when it makes sense for you. Build habits in small, manageable steps so that you can see early wins. Focus on specific actions you can measure and track, not just vague aspirations. Use what we sometimes refer to as implementation intentions. Plans like, if it's Monday, Wednesday, or Friday at 7 a.m., I'll go for a 20-minute walk. Those turn good intentions into concrete behaviors. Shape your environment so the healthy choice becomes the easy choice. And most importantly, drop the perfection standard. A missed workout or a bad day isn't a failure. It's just a single data point. You adjust and you keep going. New Year's resolutions appeal to us because they offer the hope of a fresh start. But real change happens when we focus less on the symbolic date and more on building consistent, sustainable habits that line up with the kind of person we want to be. That means recognizing the psychological traps we fall into, setting goals that fit our reality, and creating systems that make it easier to follow through. So I'm curious, have you ever kept a resolution for the whole year? If so, what made it work? And if not, what do you think was the biggest reason it fell apart? Share your answer in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more about how to set goals that you can achieve, I'd encourage you to check out this video. So that's all for today's video. As always, thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one.